What it was. Y'all know who it is. And y'all tuned in with priceless knowledge of self. And this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight, man. And say, I hope everybody's feeling well. I hope everybody's chilled out. But I got a serious question I want to ask you. And that question is this. How do you really be there for somebody in the clutch without ending up being their crutch? That's an interesting one. But it's extremely valid for what we're talking about today. Because this right here, this a little something about those people that have Jupiter in the 12th house of their astrological chart. Yeah. And see, before we actually go there, if you don't know my style, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jupiter. I'm going to discuss the energy that comes along with it and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown of what the 12th house of the astrological chart is actually all about. And then after that, we're going to bring it to a climax, a crescendo, which fortunately for you, this is what I do best. That's my forte. So without wasting any more time, let's get it cracking. So Jupiter, this is the planet of luck. And I also like to think of it as the thinking man's planet. And that's because it rules over higher learning and it really gives us a yin for exploring ideas, both intellectually and spiritually. Jupiter rules over the sign of Sagittarius in the 9th house of the astrological chart. And to a lesser degree, and to more traditional astrologers, it also rules over the sign of Pisces in the 12th house of the astrological chart as well. And, that's with Neptune, with Pisces in the 12th house. And intellectually speaking, Jupiter really helps us in formulating our ideology. In a more spiritual sense, it really lords over religion and philosophy and theology. And this planet right here, it concerns itself with long distance travel, ethical and moral values, and really our inherent sense of optimism too. Luck and good fortune are going to come wherever Jupiter shows up in the chart, and also wherever you employ the characteristics of whatever sign it's in. And, when we're talking about Jupiter, this is the kindest, most benevolent energy there is in the whole zodiac, man. And it really wants you to flourish in the most positive ways. But there can be too much of a good thing. Yeah. Jupiter, it doesn't know how to control itself. So there can be laziness. There can be complacency. There could be overindulgence that comes around with Jupiter. Okay. And sometimes that's not for the best of you. Okay. So Jupiter doesn't know limits. It wants to blow past all limits. So that's something to remember. And it takes about 12 years to traverse the whole zodiac. So it spends about a year, or a little bit more than a year in each sign. And another thing to understand is when we're talking about the house placement of Jupiter, this is where your luck lies. This is where you're going to receive the most help from other people and the cosmos throughout your experience right here on Earth. Okay. So when we're talking about the 12th house, the 12th house is the murky realm of Pisces, and it's ruled by the planets Neptune and Jupiter. And, what we find here really refers to the unconscious, the hidden, the fantasy, the past life, as well as all things that are beyond this physical plane of existence right here, man. It can also be associated with any periods of confinement, self-undoing, unseen enemies. And, I also like to call it the house of karma. And any planets placed in this house, they pretty much indicate functions that are hidden from your conscious personality, or functions that are expressed in terms of psychic faculty or self-sacrifice. So that's interesting. So when we're talking about putting Jupiter in the 12th house. So, hey, the beautiful thing is, before I say anything else, I need you to know that this one right here, this is actually one of the most special, if not the most special placement there is of all, because not only is it that Jupiter actually co-rules this house along with Neptune, and that means it's greatly empowered here, but it also kind of operates like a guardian angel of sorts, a higher force that always protects these people in disguise from the shadows. Like, that's what Jupiter here does, man. No cap. This is a beautiful, subtle energy that comes through in the clutch when it seems like all else is lost. Yeah, man. And hey, man, when I tell you that 12th house Jupiter people is blessed, I mean that. I mean that, man. And they themselves know it too, because a lot of them often, experience it, that they feel like there's always been this mysterious energy that was always there for them when they needed it just the most. Even though life may be hard, it was like there was something that always saved them right when it seemed like, hey, man, I was out of there. I was out of there. And maybe that has to do with the fact that these folks right here are those old souls. But, it also could be that these Jupiter in the 12th people are just extremely conscientious with higher moral standards than most people that they live up to under any circumstances. So that brings good luck to them, man. They're the type that are going to keep being good to the world and to the universe, no matter how much shit it shovels in their direction. That's just what it is, man. And, they don't sweat the small stuff because they're so damn spiritually mature. And, that just helps them out in anything that they do. And that's actually another one of the reasons that they spend so much time, feeling lonely and misunderstood too, because I don't know, but it's a lot with this placement. I have Jupiter in Pisces, which is going to be extremely similar to this. So I know exactly, the feeling that comes along with the intuition that comes along with it, and the openness to everything. You can't hide. You know what I'm saying? Your intuition doesn't know any boundaries with this one. That's something else to think. So, these people right here, they have to spend a lot of time alone because they notice way more than most people. Way more. So they easily get overwhelmed by all the bullshit that they take in from the environment. And let me also tell you that, these motherfuckers right here, they're typically sensitive to everything. I mean, everything. They can't take loud noises. They can't taste strong smells or situations where they have to react real quick either, man. And, it's a trip because they have such strong sensory inputs that, it's just absolutely essential for them right there, man, to, get by themselves for a lot of time every day, man. Like, they're going to need that time to recharge. You know what I'm saying? And let me also say that, this one also often brings one hell of an intuition along with it. I mean, like I said, this is an intuition that knows no bounds. It knows no bounds, man. Especially if they have a water moon or maybe even a Libra moon too with this, man. But either way, man, following their gut, that's going to be the key factor in their life with this, because, intuition is how their higher self is going to communicate with them. So sometimes when they don't understand necessarily why they feel a certain way about something, 12 times out of 13, they're going to be exactly right about the situation, man. And they were on point about what they were feeling. And also keep in mind that a 12th house Jupiter, it really benefits from solitary activities like meditation and journaling and just chilling by yourself and watching TV and letting your imagination wander, or listening to music, or just vibing on your own. But either way it goes, man, that's going to be essential to them. And if Jupiter is retrograde, hey, that need for solitude is going to be even more emphasized too, because they have such a rich inner life that suppressing it just can't be healthy. It just can't be healthy for them. Understand that. And speaking of which, man, the 12th is also the house of hidden enemies in astrology. And there's going to be something beautiful. Understand that. And, when you place the beautifully benevolent energy of Jupiter here, it brings the power there to turn your enemies into your friends. Oh, yeah. And, that's awesome. Or it could just turn out that even though that you might have secret enemies, Jupiter kind of somehow flips it around to where their hostility right there kind of somehow benefits you or protects you. You know what I'm saying? Their hostility becomes your protection, which is interesting, man. That's interesting to say the least, and beautiful too, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? And hey, Jupiter in the 12th could also signify that moving overseas could be extremely, extremely beneficial for these folks. So that's something else, that's worth considering, if push comes to shove with this placement. And lastly, You know, don't forget that the water houses are karmic houses in astrology, and any planets placed here, they indicate, you know, some shit that our soul has to resolve in this lifetime. So when we're looking at Jupiter here, it could be said that this was a soul that was extremely eager to come into this world. You know what I'm saying? They really wanted to be born, but once they got here, things started to change. And, you know, they're still trying to grasp it. But luck is on their side. And the good thing with that is, you know, as long as they have faith, it's always going to turn out just the way that it should be. And with Jupiter in the 12th house, you might never have much. But faith is one thing you do have. But hey, even if it don't play out like that, you don't believe a word I just said. Just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. What I mean by that is, hey, we all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And there's been some priceless knowledge of self. Hey, I appreciate all the love and support, man, but I'm not seeing enough interaction. What I need everybody to do is that if you haven't hit the dislike button by this point, you need to be hitting the like button. If you fooled me on any level, hit this like button, man. Share this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I drop my new stuff 4 or 5 times a week. Okay? Hey, be ready. Be ready. Because we got story time coming on Saturday. And who knows what I'm going to share this week. Who knows what I'm going to share this week? I got a good one coming, man. I got a really overwhelmingly beautiful, positive response with the story I shared last week. You know, my psychedelic experiences. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that. So guess what? This week, I'm going to come back. I actually have been seeing people asking me, which signs cheat the most? Which signs cheat the most? Which I thought I had a video on that. But I'm not going to do that. What I might do is share my experience on which signs be cheating. And my own is going to be in there because you want to talk about trifling. I used to be trifling, boy. I used to be trifling. Hey, man. You know one thing else I need everybody to do right now is smile. Smile, because it's going to be all right. If you're interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And if you're interested in any merch, you know, any hats, hoodies, any of that, man, you can also do the same thing. But I'm going to put you up on game right now. Okay? You can get all the merch you want. And I want to sell it to you. I really do, man. You can work out. You can get buffed up, get you some tattoos, some muscles. You can get slick. You might even put a wig on, man. But you probably never be this fly because this type of energy, this type of swag, it's got to be in you. It can't be on you. I'm a natural.